Hi everybody, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, let me tell you about yesterday. I decided to fly. I decided to fly early in case Air Canada went on strike. We still had no word yet what was happening. They were at the bargaining table. It was the deadline at midnight and we didn't know what was going to happen. So I decided to fly. And you know what? I think every single person who ever flies with Air Canada decided they were going to do the exact same thing. So I knew it was going to be a busy day when I got to the Ottawa airport and I went to my first flight. It was one flight to Toronto, and normally those flights 75-80% full. This was jammed to the gills. They had to take people's check bags because they had to you couldn't, no room in the overheads, and it was a big plane. It was a 3x3 plane. It wasn't like a 1-2 or anything situation. So it was a large plane, and we were packed to the gills. We ended up taking about 30 minutes longer to load. There were so many people getting on board and so many people transferring from other flights, etc. There was not another seat left on the plane. It was packed completely. Let me tell you, that's not the normal case all the time. We have so many flights going to Toronto and Montreal from Ottawa that there's usually a few seats left over, but there were none. But then I arrived in Toronto, and the madness kind of started. It was crowded. And I found out like some of the reasoning why, and I'll get into that in a little bit, but I knew the experience was going to be crazy because I was heading to the lounge because I had a couple-hour layover. And so I got through all the running around in the airport, got all the way up to where the Air Canada lounge is, and they have two lines. They have one line for people who are gold members and one line for people who are super elite or business class. Well, my next flight was business class and I'm also super elite. So I got into that line and there were like 10 people in front of me. Normally there's nobody in that line whenever I go to a lounge. I'm that one person because there's not a lot of super elite travelers out there. So I do get in. They take nothing but super elite first, and then they start going on the other one. But I'm in, and I'm walking to where they have this little buffet first service food where you can get wine and drinks there, and it's standing room only in there. It's crowded, 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 crowded. So over there, the Air Canada lounge is super busy. There's no place to sit. But on the entrance where I am, look, comfortable seats, couch right there. So I went, got myself a soda, and I'll sit right here where nobody's crowded around and jumping all over the place over there. They ran out of glasses, they ran out of dishes. It's super busy. Everyone's trying to fly today because they don't know what tomorrow will bring. So yeah, I found my seats. Okay. By the time I left, that was really, really crowded. Oh, and by the way, this is the line that they were still, no one was coming in because they would not let a single person in until another person left because it was over. There were no glasses for drinks. There were no cups for the coffee. It was all gone. That's how crowded the lounge was. So you knew it was a super busy travel day. And then, lo and behold, I got my seat. I was walking out, and this here was the line lined up still to get into the lounge. These are people with priority boarding and all that, and still, that's the lineup. But it was time to head to my flight. And I was there, and I was told to go to gate 80. So I went to gate 80, and I'm standing there, and we're crowded. We're in this tight little corner, and there's another plane boarding over here, and it's a large plane as well, and they're lined up into our aisle where we're trying to line up, and then they have the lineups with the ropes, zone 1, zone 2, zone 3 to 5, and etc. But they had them roped off so no one could go in the row. Had they opened up the row so we could stand in the eye, like the roped off area, in line in zone 1 and 2 and 3, etc., you could have fit about 80 people into there, but they had it roped off right at the beginning. So we're all crowded into this narrow passageway that 3 other planes, people are trying to get in and out of, and our plane is about 300 people on our plane. It's a huge plane. Well, as I'm sitting there, I get my first text message from Air Canada saying that the flight is now delayed an hour due to scheduled maintenance. That's what you want to hear before you're going on your flight across the ocean, is that they're working on something on the plane. But all right, it's just an hour. So we're there about a half hour, still standing, waiting. You know, there's no place to go. There's no place to go sit. The lounge is full again. And I get a text message. I'm one of the first people, because I'm in that super elite status, I'm one of those first people to get those text messages. And it said, go to gate 70. We've been relocated to gate 70. Oh no, we gotta make our way through this huge crowded airport, and now there's 300 of us that's gonna head in that direction. We're playing gate tag now. Lined up at the gate for a half hour, get a notice it's delayed an hour. Now they're switching gates on us, and everybody has to move. Fun. And so I tell my people I've been chatting with around me that I just got a text message saying we have to go to gate 70. And we head to gates, and it's like people are lined up for planes, and there's like a one person walk through like this. And those in that one person walk through to get by, people are trying to go in both ways. They're trying to push carts with luggage. They're trying to push strollers. And we got to go about 300 yards down to another area in the terminal. Craziness. It took forever to get through this crowd. We get to gate 70, and people are lined up at the gate, but it says Dublin. And so I said, well, I better check this out. And I said, well, chances are they're going to load Dublin. That plane will pull out. They'll pull our plane in and we'll load, except up on the board it says the loading time, the flight time is 8:35 for that flight. And 9:35. And that's the time that we're supposed to be boarding. And it's supposed to be just pulling away at that time. So there's a time thing going on right there. And then I see the pilots and the crew come up behind us, and they're heading over and they're talking with the Air Canada people as well. But then they start loading Dublin, and the crew's over to the corner. Dublin people are getting on. It's another large plane. And we're there, and we're, okay, sit there about another half hour and everything, and they're almost done boarding Dublin. And you guessed it, I got another text message saying, hey, your gate's been changed. Back to gate 80, where we just came from, that they told us to get away from. And back we go. Crew and all, another 300 people. Back through all those crowds again, back to the gate to stand in the line we were already in. And we get there, and there's no Air Canada personnel at the gates. There's nobody working there yet. And slowly one person comes, and then a second person comes, and then a third person comes, and then finally the crew are allowed on. And this whole time, we're running about an hour or so late. And then I wasn't worried about flying. I was worried about the time of the crew, how long they were allowed to fly. You hit a certain point and they won't fly because they're going to go over their hours. So that was my big concern. But I got onto the plane. Cool. And the pilot comes on and says, sorry for the confusion about the gates, everybody. There's a lot of wide body aircraft flying tonight as we've had to switch planes because they're so busy. And we've had to add bigger planes to the flights. That I can see. It was super busy. And so that's why they were looking for gates all the time and moving people around all the time. Even the crew Had no idea where they were going. And then the shuttle comes and picks up the plane and starts backing it up there, the little tractor. And it turns us around, so we're about to face out and head. And we stop dead. 15 minutes goes by, 20 minutes goes by, and then the pilot comes on, sorry everybody, we are getting this warning light here in the cockpit, and we're going to have the ground crew take a look at it for us. Oh good, that's another thing you want to hear before flying across the ocean is there's a warning light in the cockpit. That we're not going to pull away because there's a warning light. Well, another 25 minutes or so goes by. Meanwhile, I'm getting text messages over and over again saying your flight is now delayed till this time. Your flight is now delayed another time. And it just kept going on and on and on. And while we're sitting there, but I'm in a comfortable seat, I'm okay, I have my TV to watch in front of me. I'm just worried we're not going to take off. And then, lo and behold, wow, the pilot comes on and he says, well, the mechanics don't seem too concerned about the warning light, and so we're going to pull away from the port, the dock here any minute now, and we'll get you into the air. Well, yeah, the mechanic's not coming on that plane with us. So he's not too concerned. I'm pretty concerned. Now, there seemed to be no issues whatsoever during the flight, so I'm just kidding. But as a person or anybody who's nervous of flying or anything like that, hearing that, oh, they don't seem too concerned about the warning light. Okay, that's like when you jump into a taxi and the engine light is flashing like this, saying, hey, you got to fix your... It worries you, right? So, especially flying at 37,000 feet across the ocean. That's not the thing you want to hear. But I had a smooth flight. I fell asleep. I slept like a baby at one point. Watched a couple movies, had some good meals on board, and landed in London. Just in time for them to tell me that Air Canada settled their strike and I didn't have to fly in a panic at all. What the heck? Well, I hope you appreciate this update. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world and more from London, apparently? Hit that subscribe button. Until next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.